Hello everyone, I'm PerPlur, and welcome back to PerPlur's Makeshift Guide to GregTech New Horizons. It has not been too long since the last episode. Today is currently May 11th, 2026, and yeah, I haven't really done much, but last episode we did a lot, so we're in a good place. Uh, really, I've just been smelting stuff up, kind of just grinding some ores up. I got another crusher, wall sharing, of course. And we're really just grinding out resources. Boiler's running perfectly fine. And all the work we did last episode is really just paying off. But today is probably one of the biggest days to come, and that is completing the Steam Age. Obviously, we have a lot of quests that are unfinished, but that will not be happening today. Instead, sorry about that, we are going to be working on going through the rest of this page for main quests and finishing up Steam. So to start that off, let's go back home. That is not home. That is same place I was. And yeah, let's get into the very first thing we need to do. So I believe the first thing we have to do is wire wrap, which is going to be making our very first rubber, which is going to be great because that's going to allow us to not only finish the Steam multis that we weren't able to finish, but it's also, like I said, going to allow us to move into the Steam age. Into the LV age. Now, I already have the rubber dust and sulfur dust finished. Sulfur dust I got from the Nether. I have a lot of sulfur, so needless to say, sulfur dust isn't the problem. And rubber dust is collected by extracting either slimy leaves, slime balls, sticky resin, rubber tree sapling, rubber tree leaves, rubber wood, or slime again. Now, the traditional way, at least in my opinion, is resin to get rubber. But in this sense, we did slime balls because if you have seen it outside the base where it is currently super dark, and now it is not, and I have a zombie chasing after me. How fun. We have right over there those slime trees that we had collected from a slime island quite a while ago. I think I might have done that pre-series. And pretty much what I can do is if we go over to the raw rubber dust and we go to the extracted slime balls, we can actually get slime balls out of extracting the congealed slime. It's pretty much just a huge extracting chain. And I had finished up quite a bit of raw rubber dust quite a while ago when I believe we first got Steam machines done. Yeah, right here. So we have a lot. In this sense, we need 120, which, let's see, rubber is alloy smelting 3 to 1. So if it's 3 to 1, we're going to grab 3 stacks. And then we're also going to need a stack of sulfur dust, which is easy enough. We just get our sulfur, hammer it down into crushed sulfur ore, and hammer it again into the impure pile of sulfur dust. Obviously, we have the steam multis, which would do this much quicker. And then we place it in the cauldron and get the clean sulfur dust. Just like that, we head over to our steam machines, specifically our steam fuser, pop it all in there, and it should start working. Right there. 8 rubber bars. So, in probably 10 minutes, it'll be done, and we'll have a bunch of rubber. And just like that, we now have 64 rubber bars. That was actually not that bad of a wait. Then we also had the rubber soft mallet, which apparently we already made, probably from the rubber that I had collected previously, so I guess we won't worry about that one. Now we get to move on to our very next step, which is going to be getting all these pieces that we're going to need for the LV circuits. Alrighty, so looking at what we need to do next is we need to make a bunch of molds. And these are what are going to allow us to, I guess, say automate getting the different components that we need. So as you can see, casings, gears, ingots, balls, nuggets, blocks, etc. These are the molds that our machines will use to pretty much turn resources into their selected things, if that makes sense. So what we're going to need is 5 blank casts, and actually we need 6. I'm noticing that. So let's go ahead. We should still have some brass left over, yeah, like that. And there we go, that's our 6th one. So now, to make all of these things, you need these blank casts, and you pretty much shape them in the different patterns, I guess is what I'm noticing. And then you pour steel over them. 576 millibuckets of steel, which is, I think, like 5 pieces of steel. So we're going to need, what, like 30? 30 steel, something like that? We'll put 32 in to be safe. And while all of that is melting up, we could say, we're going to come over here and run through these different molds. So we need the casing mold, the gear mold, the ingot mold, the ball mold, the nugget mold, which looks really weird in my opinion, but who knows, and then the block mold, which doesn't look much different than the plate itself, but hey, so what? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have to wait for the steel to melt up, which it seems like it's almost there. And just like that, it did actually finish pretty quickly. So what we're going to do is we're also going to remove this other ingot cast that's sitting there, and we're going to make sure the steel's in there. And then while these are smelting up, we're going to do these in turn, I guess. And they do take a little while to work. I mean, I guess if that's what you want to say. Cool. That's what I was looking for. Because it's molten steel. And that should be the last 2. And that's going to be all of our... Let's see, we've got the casing, gear, ball, ingot, nuggets, and block mold all done. Put these back just so I don't forget them. And that is the molds. Not mold, but molds. I don't know. But now I think we can finally start working on the pieces to put together these circuits. Alrighty, now starting off, we have a lot of work to do, because these are all the resources we're going to need to make these 16 electronic circuits. We're starting off with a very big number, and that will be revealed later. So, I did have this a little weird. Our first quest is going to be Wired Weird. It might be Wired Weird, who knows? Where we're going to need red alloy wire, tin wire, copper wire, fine copper wire, and then we need to wrap them in the rubber that we just made. So our first thing is going to be this red alloy wire, which we need 3 plates for. Now, we do have 12 red alloy, and 3 plates would be 6 red alloy, I believe. So we're going to head over and turn those into plates in a minute. But we're going to get it all ready so that we don't have to make multiple trips, obviously. Now, the 7 plates is going to be 12, 10. Sorry if I'm just, like, sitting here doing math, because I'm trying to do this all in one go. And then 24, 32. No, 34. I was wrong. Aha. 36. My math was wrong. Alrighty, so we're going to go back over to Steam, and we're going to put all of this into our press. and that's going to turn it all into plates. And just like that, that'll be done super quickly. We can turn it all into wire. Now we will also need another 4 copper plates, which we will need to run home and get that. So that's going to be another 6 copper. Quite a inconvenience, but hey, we did that quickly. And it's finally nice that we're not having to use bronze. We get to use copper now. And to make this copper foil, we have to use the hammer, unfortunately. And that takes a while. That is 32 seconds. Gosh dang. Red alloy is strong, I guess. And we're definitely going to need a lot more red alloy if I was looking at these crafting recipes correctly. And I mean a lot. Oh, actually 16 is not a lot. But hey, now that we got all that, we can head back home and run right over to our crafting table. There's the red alloy wire. There's the tin wire. And we're missing a wire cutter. How do we make wire cutter? That is a great question. Let's find out. And just for the sake of saving time, we crafted them all with steel. What a waste of steel. But hey, it is what it is. So now we can make the 24 copper wire, and then we can make the 8 fine copper wire. Now all we are missing is wrapping these cables in their respected material. And for that, we're going to need rubber sheets, which can be made using an alloy smelter and a plate mold. But I don't know, we didn't do the plate mold. So either we could do the plate mold really quick, which we should have the steel for, so let's do that. And make this actually worth our while. So we're going to head over here, do the same thing we did with the other molds. We're going to learn how to make the plate mold, that is. Run it like that. Put it right back in there. Steel on the bottom. And that'll be our steel, and that'll be our plate mold, which we can then take over to the alloy smelter, and it is going to be a 2-to-1 ratio, which is terrible, I want to state for the record. If it is a 2-to-1, then I guess we will put 16. Actually, for right now, let's just do 8. For the sake of trying to save our rubber, even though, let's be honest, we can make a lot of it. And that was really quick. No time lapse needed. Or no fast forward needed. Interesting. But that's the 8 rubber sheets, so not enough is what I'm realizing. So let's head back over there and do that again. But hey, we already know that. Am I even going to be able to see how fast it is? Because that's genuinely how fast it was. 10 seconds. If that. I don't even know if that's what it said. I just think that's what it said. So we're going to head back in here, and now we're actually going to wrap these cables. And just like that, we now have the red alloy cables and the tin cables done. Just like that, we are wired weird. That I probably am. So let's move on to the next thing, and that is going to be our glass tubes. Our vacuum tubes. Figured I should identify them correctly. For the glass tubes, we need 32 of them, which is going to be a stack of steel, 16 red alloy, and 128 copper plates. And what better time than now to go get those resources? So, I guess we'll be right back. Okay, well, I didn't entirely collect everything, but I did it into a point where we can actually still go through it rather than my normal, I'm just going to collect everything and make this video super short. No. Okay, so sorry for that rant. Our first thing is going to be the 32 vacuum tubes, which are going to require the 128 copper plates. I did get those done. 64 steel. Ouch. 16 red alloy, which we do have, and 32 glass tubes, which I just have the glass dust, but then we need the ball mold, because to make the glass tubes, you need to do glass dust and the ball mold in an alloy smelter, or in our case, the steam fuser. So we're going to head right over to our steam fuser, insert this in, take our extra rubber out, and we're going to start making 8 glass tubes. And it's about 1 per 0.83 seconds, also known as 9.6 seconds. And I believe everything else, yeah, we even have some more redstone dust that has been macerated up for more red alloy, which we are definitely going to need in the future. But our glass tubes are working just like that. Now, what else do we have to get ready? I think for the vacuum tubes, that's it. The circuit boards are actually going to be quite easy. But I did make a few more slime balls, because we do need slime. And a lot of it at that. And there's our 32 glass tubes. Now we can go back home, which, if I can spell, just put that in there. We should be able to come down here and get our first 32 glass tubes. How about that? Time for some logic. How about that? How many times have I said, how about that? Alrighty, next, we're going to move on to the circuit boards, which, to make the circuit boards the traditional way, is 6 sticky resin and 3 planks for 3. But in our sense, just because it's going to be easier, we're going to do 6 slime balls and 3 wood planks. And that's going to require, oh, and then to make the actual circuit boards, you do copper wire around that. To make 16 of these, we need 128 copper plates. So there's the 128. And then we're also going to need 36 slime balls. Easy enough. At least I feel like that's not terrible. And then we're going to need 18 wooden planks. Now, not the normal wooden planks. These are the GregTech wooden planks. And I do believe, yeah, I already have 15 of them. So that means I only need another 2. No, 3. I need another 3. And to craft these, you pretty much put 8 wood pulp into a compressor and or steam squasher. So that means we're going to need 24 wood pulp. Now, I do know that if we go into here and put that into a mortar, it should give us 2 wood pulp per, which will give us the 24 that we need. Which is also nice because now we go over to steam. We jiggity right over to our steam squasher. Put that in there. And in 24 seconds, we will have the 3 wood planks that we need. Just like everything else, that finished us up. We get the 3 planks, and we head right back to complete the 16 circuit boards. How about that? And we even have a few coded circuits left over. That's pretty nice. And now, the final part, well, the final part to making the final part, the 32 resistors. These are crafted by 2 sticky resin or 2 slime balls. You can do a bunch of other recipes with 2 fine copper wire, 2 copper wire, and some coal dust. And to make 32 of those, it is going to require 64 slime balls, easy enough, 96 copper plates, also easy enough, 32 coal, which I want to say we have, yes we do, and some tools, which we're also missing a wire cutter. Gosh diggity dang it. Well, those are easy to make, so let me get a few more of those. Alright, well, that's a few more, so be it. Now, we can craft up those 32 resistors, just like that, and we have now completed the resistor. And now, for the final part, our very first electronic circuit. We are going to gather all of our resources, which are the 3 things we just crafted. Put some of this back in its respective place, get it out of my inventory, in other words, because it is in the way. And to start this off, we're going to need quite a bit of things. So that is going to consist of 48 red alloy plates, which is going to be, I believe, 64 and 32. 64 and 8. Same with rubber, which is going to be another 64 and 8, just like that. Obviously in the presser, which we will do in one moment. And then the 16 steel plates, which is going to be 24 steel, which we don't have. But if we are lucky, we do still have that. But I did put steel to start collecting in our BBF, which means we now have 27 steel, which, just because I haven't locked any of these, we're going to put in there. We are going to head over to Steam and get these all squashed up. And just like that, that's the plates that we could have made done. I completely forgot that I need the plate mold for the rubber bars. So we need to head back home and grab the plate mold wherever I laid it. There it is. Head back over there and realize that maybe, yes, there we go, is how we make rubber sheets. And just like that, that's only 36 rubber sheets done. Oh, did I really misdo my calculations? Crud. What do I need? 12 more? 18? Alright. Well, I guess we're heading back home. Great. See, this is the imperfects of me doing math in my head. Ah, we love that. Or it might be a different... Was it a different conversion? Is that why I did that wrong? I don't know. Well, we're about to find out. Put another 16 in there, and we're still under. How about that? Yeah, it's a different conversion. Wait, what's the conversion then? What are we doing this? Alloy smelter? It's a 2-to-1. Maybe I'm just tweaking? I don't know. Well, I know we'll need it, so we'll just put another 16 in. We can easily make more rubber another day. So be it, I guess. The gods of GTNH don't like me. Finishes so quickly, which is crazy. Alrighty, and just like that, that's everything. So we should be able to come right over here and click craft. Just like that. Voila. We now have our very first circuits. Now let's go make some machinery with it. Well, now that we have our circuits, finally, we can start building some machines. And I think the first thing we need to do is somehow make energy for these machines, and that is how we are going to open ourselves up into the LV age. And that is by making the steam turbine. Now, our first craft is going to be the motors, which is going to be the basic part of LV, and is going to require 2 of them. So, I guess, if we look at this recipe, it's going to be 2 tin cables, 4 copper wires, 2 iron rods, and then 1 magnetic iron rod, which is easy enough crafted by, well, 8 copper plates, 2 tin, I think that's 2 tin plates, or 4 tin plates, 4 rubber sheets, 8 redstone, and 6 iron. And that is all easy enough. We just need the plates. So 8 copper is going to be 12, I believe. So it's going to be 12 copper, which honestly we might actually already have this. We have the 8 plates, the 8 copper plates. We also need the 4 tin plates. That we don't have. So that's going to be 6 tin, which we are going to have to turn into plates. And then also the 4 rubber sheets, which we already have. Easy enough. And we need the redstone. So we're going to have to go pick that up from the steam building anyways. And while we're there, we put our steam, or our tin plates into the presser, or our tin ingots into the presser, let them press into ingots. Now, I have all this redstone dust right here, and what we're going to do with it is put it in a cauldron. Are these done yet? They are. We're going to head to the top of this factory. That's the first step. And we're going to grab some water because I have a feeling that when I go home and start placing the redstone in this water, I'm going to run out of water. Yep, just like that. And I'm going to need one more bucket of water, so good thing we were already here. And just like that, that's another 6 stacks of redstone just like that. That'll probably end up getting used on red alloy, because it seems that we need a lot of red alloy in LV. And I have a feeling that I do. Just like that, that's our first LV motors. And now that we have the LV motors, we head to the other side of the crafting recipe now, which is going to require us to make our first LV machine hull, which says you just need imagination to use this. Well, I guess we just need a little bit of imagination. Now, to start off, we need 8 steel plates, which is another, what, 18 copper, or 18 steel, I think? Oh, let's go get the steel. Yeah, it's going to be 12 steel, so the chance that we have that is actually 100%. Just like that. Nice. Let's make sure we have everything else first, though. So it's going to be 2 wrought iron plates and 2 tin plates, as well as another steel plate. Another steel plate is going to be another 3 steel. Actually, which we might already have. We already have actually most of the steel plates. We're only going to need 2 more. So that's actually really nice. And then we're going to need 2 wrought iron and 2 tin. We have the 2 wrought iron. We have 1 tin. So how about we go make some more? Even though I know I could just handcraft these, but I'm really just trying to be as resource efficient as possible. So sorry that it's so much back and forth. I just feel at this point in the game, since I am starting to drain myself on resources a lot and have not gone back and backlogged myself, which I promise I will do at some point, it's just best for us to, get these resources and try and save them as much as possible. So to start off, there is our LV machine casing. And next, we're going to need our LV hull, which is going to require 2 more rubber sheets. Good thing we have that. And just like that, our very first LV machine hull. And now to finally complete this Steamalicious steam turbine, as it is stated, we're going to need a tin rotor, which we're actually going to need 2 of them, according to the quest, is really easy. 8 tin plates and 4 tin. Could I have just, made the plates while I was over there? Of course I could have. Did I? No. So, yeah. We're going to head back over there, put the tin back in, and we're going to wait another 9 seconds, because why not? In the attempt to save resources, we are wasting time, but time is valuable. But unfortunately, our resources are a little more valuable right now. So now we have all the steel for tin for this. Craft up those 2 tin rotors and make this Steamalicious basic steam turbine. We are missing 6 bronze plates and 1 rubber sheet, which we should have all of. bronze fluid pipes. I don't have any, so I will have to waste the bronze, unfortunately. But coming in here, and crafting this guy up, we now have our first steam turbine. And welcome to Tier 1, also known as LV. Well, we finally made it to LV after the longest amount of delays and, not necessarily continuing series and all the things that got in the way. Well, we finally did it. And that's nice because what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to steal from this bronze pipe, which I don't know where I want to pump this. I think I'm going to pump it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take like that, do that, like that, and put our very first steam turbine right there. And just to make sure that steam is flowing in there, we'll do that. And now we're generating energy, I believe. I think that's how that works. Yeah. So now we can start moving into LV. How about that? Well, let's make our first few machines then. And now to put the absolute cherry on top of this amazing episode that we have done, actually probably one of my favorite progressions of this entire series so far, actually getting into the electric machinery of this game. Do I want to know why something exploded? And where something exploded? Probably not. I'm a little worried. Well, nothing seemed to explode in here. That was weird. Okay, well, besides from that, the two machines that we are going to try and make before putting a final bow on this episode is going to be the wire mill and the bending machine. The wire mill is actually easy enough. The bending machine we're going to have to make a piston for. So to start off, we're going to make the basic wire mill, which is going to allow us, if I can get, to turn any ore into its wire, which is going to be very nice. I think we can do the wire. Then I want to say also, okay, so no, that's the lathe. We'll make that another day. But the wire mill is actually easy enough. It's 16 redstone, 16 copper plates, 12 iron, 12 tin plates, 12 rubber sheets, 9 steel plates, and 2 wrought iron plates. What's nice about that is we already have the 16 copper plates. Easy enough. We already have the, let's see, we already have the 2 wrought iron plates. We have 7 of the 12 rubber sheets, which means we're going to need another, what is that? That's another 5, which means we need another 10 rubber. Easy enough. We're also going to need the 12 tin plates, which is going to be 18. I don't know why something keeps exploding. That's very concerning. That's another 18. And then I believe we're also going to need the 9 steel plates, which is going to be about 15 steel at the end of the day for that. Not 16, 15. And that should be all for that, for the wire mill. So let's go over to the steam, and let's get those plates going. I'm going to need I'm going to need the plate. That's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need the plate mold, which should be in here, yeah. And then we should be able to do that, so that'll go. And then I think the explosions were somewhere around here. Oh, it wasn't explosions, it was lightning. Oh. Well, I wish I would have known that. I wouldn't have been scared of it. Well, we can sleep and we won't hear any more lightning strikes anymore. I was like, what keeps exploding over me? Okay, so that's those plates done, and then that's those plates done. So I believe if we go back home, head right over here. And what else are we missing? The 12 iron and the 16 redstone. Come over here, and we're missing a file. How fun. That's not fun, actually, at all. So, let's make another file. Woohoo. Eh, you know, is what it is. And just like that, we have our first basic wire mill. Awesome. We're going to place that right there for right now, while we now make the next part, which is going to be the pistons. You're going to hate this number 3. Now, here's number 1, here's number 2. We're skipping right to number 3, because number 3 is where we need to be. That did not rhyme whatsoever. And here, we're going to empty our inventory out and reset the material gathering list, which is going to be 4 steel plates, which is going to require us to get another... divide by 2, that's 2 times 3 is 6. Yes, that's going to require at least another 6 steel. And then on top of that, we need 4 steel. That's going to be there. And then we're also going to need 4 copper plates, which we awesomely already have. 4 tin plates, which is going to be another 6 tin. And then we should... Oh, we have 4 rubber, which is going to be 8 rubber. And we shouldn't have any more rubber here. So that's another 8 rubber like that. That should be all we need there. So, just like we've been doing, we're going to slash back, head back over here, put our metals in there, our rubber in there. I hate how long it takes for us to do that. And now we're just waiting for the tin, which is 9.45 seconds. And once that is done, we head back home. Just a whole bunch of back and forth. We're missing, I think it's 3 and 4. We make the piston, and there's our very first LV piston. You're going to hate this, number 3. And that's also going to open up a basic gas turbine, a basic combustion generator, a sifting machine, a forming press, the basic forge hammer, the basic compressor, and pretty much we're going to need all of these to replace all of our LV machines, but we're going to LV out next episode. I think right now we just want to get the basic things, which are these that we need. And next is going to be the basic bending machine, which is going to require 12 copper plates, which is going to be 18 copper. So, do that. 18 copper. We're going to need 11, so that's going to be another 18. Let's do 18 tin as well. And then 12 steel plates, which is going to be 18 steel as well. Seems everything's 18 for this go around. And then we're going to need 15 of the rubber plates and 2 wrought iron. And 15, which is going to be 30 rubber. And once we plate all that up, we should be ready to make our last machine of this episode. Put those in there and in there. And I love how fast this recipe is. It's not even a second long. 0.8, an eighth, or I don't know if it's really an eighth, but it's 0.8 of a second. Which is crazy to me. And now we're just waiting on the copper plates, which should be done about now. That's all the plates done. Go back to the house. This is a whole lot of back and forth. Lord, do I wish I made things closer. 9 iron and the 12 redstone. Just like that. we now have our bending machine. And that is our first 2 machines of the LV age. The basic wire mill and the basic bending machine. Boo, he's bad, we want Bender, and produces wires more efficiently, which is what we need. Now, we are... Oh, no we're not. We have 10 cables right there. We are going to need a pair of wire cutters, though. So these wire cutters are just going to have to go live over in our Steam building. And I know this building is for Steam, but it's going to have to settle for LV for right now. Boo-hoo, I guess. And what we're going to do is we're going to do these 2 LV wires like that. Take our wire mill up here and our bending machine right there. And these should now be powered. And the best part about the bending machine, watch this. We go home, and let's just say let's grab a stack of copper. Why not? And we go back to the bending machine, and I believe it's going to be on 1:1 ratio for copper plates. All right, for any plates. Now it is a 1:1 ratio. This right here. All we have from here is making it faster. This right here, 1:1 plates. And wire mill, I think's also, yeah, it's 1:2 now. Instead of, what was it, 2:1? Yeah, it was 2:1. Let's see, yeah. It was originally 2:1. Then it was 3:2. Now it's 1:1. But because we have the wire mill, it's 1:2. How about that? That's pretty cool. So now this is our very first set of machines that obviously they're not as fast as the bending machine, or I mean the presser, because it doesn't do it in multiples of 8. But let it passively sit, and we can tear down all of these guys once we get their LV counterparts. And I'm still producing all the raw rubber I can. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And honestly, that's very noisy. So let's head back here. And now, if we look over at the board that obviously has been playing throughout this episode, which I'm trying a new trick, so hopefully it turns out the way I want it to. We can come through here and say we have completed rubber time, we have molded the future, every piece did matter, the motors are now spinning, there is power, and we have now entered the age of the new. And that is episode 3. So, thank you to everyone who made it out today. And thank you to everyone who stayed till the end. Besides for that, I'm going to continue to plug my Twitch, because chances are I will be live there pretty often. And you'll probably see some behind the scenes here. I think besides from that, if you enjoyed and want to see more, hit the subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. Comment, if you want to comment, leaving any suggestions, what to do, maybe how to make the videos better. I am very open to suggestions. On top of that, if there's still the same goal, once we reach 100 subscribers, I will be opening a public Discord so that I can post more updates in there. And I just realized something. We missed one little thing. And that's going to be grabbing this wrench, coming over to this steam turbine, taking power away from this for a second. Oh, shit. There we go. And then repowering that. There we go. And getting the basic Steam trophy. It's a little behind on time just because, you know, we decided to wait. But besides from that, we can now... And it was funny, as I was doing the outro, I realized we can now put it on the trophy wall. Well, I think that's going to be it for me for today. And thank you all a lot for tuning in. And well, I guess next episode we're exploring the age of LV a little deeper. How about that? Damn.